Welcome back to the channel, guys. My name is Gene. You guys are watching Primed and Lube, Season 4, Episode 10 for, yes, my birthday, December the 8th, 2024. So happy birthday to me. And the Edmonton Oilers definitely did not disappoint this week with three excellent games. They did lose one game, but it was still a playoff field game. And that was against Vegas in the 1-0 loss. But the Oilers are starting to play really good hockey. Very, very happy with what they've done this week and what they've been doing in the last little while. Zach Hyman is starting to come around. And yeah, so lots to talk about in this episode. That being said, if you guys want to chime in after the episode for the final thoughts section, feel free to chime in your thoughts to me, or your questions, or corrections if I make mistakes. I would definitely appreciate that from you. That being said, a little bit of housekeeping, guys. Would like to have more subscribers, and I am going to coin you guys now as not only just subscribers, but we're going to call you guys part of the pit crew of Primed and Lubed. So if you do like the content that I bring you, feel free to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. It will help me tenfold grow this channel to bring you content that is amazing, good, and hopefully to your standards. Lots to talk about on this episode as the Oilers took on the Knights in an incredible game, and I actually gave them a great grade on this particular game as they looked phenomenal. We're going to go around the league, lots of news around the league, including the Four Nations face-off, which the rosters have been revealed. We are going to go through Team Canada's roster breakdown. We're going to do another reflections piece on a guy that is actually not retired yet. He has been an Oiler a few times, actually 3 times to be exact. You guys probably already know who I'm talking about, but if not, you'll have to wait and see. We're going to talk about the Blue Jackets game where the Edmonton Oilers finally got a little bit of revenge from the drumming that they gave us earlier this year. We're going to take a look at the standings, and there's a new team that is on top of a new team that is topping the Western Conference as King of the Hill right now. So there's some movement definitely going on. We're going to give you the new poll question, take a look at the 3 upcoming games that are coming up this week, and we'll get into final thoughts where you guys can chime in and give me any input and any of your thoughts of what you like. Maybe you don't like the Team Canada rosters. Maybe you thought Stuart Skinner should have made it. Maybe you thought Zach Hyman should have made it. Definitely chime in. Let me know your thoughts. Let's dive into the Oilers and Knights. Now, this game was incredible. They lost. The result sucked. Don't get me wrong. The result did suck. But it was such a good game. It was playoff intensity. Both teams did not want to lose. Very, very good game. I am so pumped to watch the rematch next Saturday. However, that is an afternoon game. It'll be 2 p.m. Your time and 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So just a heads up for that. You don't want to miss that game. That was phenomenal. Okay, so let's get into the first game against the Golden Knights. As I mentioned, it was a 1-0 loss, but an excellent game. Cannot complain. Let's go into the takeaways of this game. Edmonton had its opportunities in the second period with 7 high danger chances according to Natural Stat Trick and 9 shots on goal. So the second period looked really well for this team. Key moments. The Oilers had a 6-on-5 advantage in the final 2 minutes when Ryan Nugent-Hopkins had a chance to tie the game, but his rebound shot went off hill with a $1.25 left in the game. The key stat, 8. The number of combined shots on goal in the first period that is the second lowest total of combined shots in the first period and tied for second fewest of any period this season. Yeah, not a lot of, it was very tight checking. And yeah, so I'm going to be honest with you. Now that I think about it, going back to this first period, it wasn't that good. I would say the last half of it was where it was amazing. And I think I say that actually in this section here on my take. This may have been a loss for the boys, but overall, very, very very well played game. A very, very well played game. Sorry, I'm reading this incorrectly. This had a playoff feel from the drop of the puck. There was a bit of a feel out process for the first 28 minutes. Like I said, it was a little bit sluggish. But holy shit, did the boys ever ramp it up after that. Great effing game, boys. Yeah, I couldn't say enough. And I'm going to give them a good grade on this. Believe it or not, it was a loss, but I am still going to give them the A- on this. And that is a crazy grade to give them in a loss, but it was such an entertaining game and they played good. They played hard. Aiden Hill stood on his head in that game. He was actually, Aiden Hill gets this. So those of you out there that are a little concerned about what Team Canada might have in net for the Four Nations face-off, I think we're okay with Aiden Hill. He looked pretty damn good. And Sam Moddenbo was pretty good. Jordan Bennington, we'll see. We'll see how he does. I do believe if one of those guys do get hurt, however, Stewart will come in and be the replacement option. So, yeah, just an excellent game. They have the rematch this Saturday, 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 2 p.m. Mountain. You need to watch it. It was that good of a game. You need to watch it. So let's go take a look at around the league now, as quite a bit of news stories have been breaking, and we'll get into that right now. Okay, so first and foremost, Blackhawks fire Luke Richardson as head coach after an 8-16-2 start. Yeah, it's been a rough go. Connor Bedard's not exactly firing like he did in his first year. This team is hurting. This team is definitely in trouble. I think they are still dead last in the league. I know they're dead last in the West. I do believe they are still dead last overall, but I don't know for sure. Tom Wilson last night. Wow. This is a warrior by all, he has had a history of some dirty hits. There's no question. But this man is a warrior. This man comes to fight every night. He takes a puck off of his cheek. His cheek swells up to the size of a grapefruit. He ends up getting 2 goals and still does a post-game interview after it. Wow, what a warrior. A little bit of a dirty player, I won't say that, but a hell of a warrior. Okay, Rangers move on from Jacob Trouba and send the captain to the Ducks. This did not sit very well with Jacob Trouba because he does have no movement or I don't know if it's a no movement or no trade clauses in his contract. So basically what the Rangers had to do is kind of waive him, and then that opened the door to a trade. And because of that trade, it led to Igor Shesterkin getting the highest paid goaltender contract. I think it's $11.5 million. I don't know about that. I think that's way too much for him. I understand the cap is going up, but holy cow, man, $11.5 million over 8. I believe that's what it is. I should have wrote down that number. Anyone out there can correct me on it. It was that's crazy money for him. So moving out, Trouba gets basically that money, and they were able to finally get him signed. And the Four Nations Cup rosters have been revealed for Finland, Sweden, U.S., and Canada. And let's take a look at the Canadian roster right now, as there is a combined 17 Stanley Cup rings on this roster. Jordan Bivington, Aiden Hill, Sam Monabo are the tenders. Stuart Skinner likely to be the backup should one of these guys get hit or hurt between now and then. On defense, Cale McCarr, Josh Morrissey, Colton Pererenko, Alex Petroangelo, cannot speak today, Travis Sinham, Shea Theodore, and Devin Taves. For forwards, Sam Bennett, Anthony Sorelli, Sidney Crosby, Brendan Hagel, Seth Jarvis, Travis Konecki, Nathan McKinnon, Brad Marchant, Mitch Marner, Connor, the Magic Man McDavid, Braden Point, and Sam Ron Hurt and Mark Stone. So again, 17 Stanley Cup rings are within these guys. This should be a huge tournament. I believe it's February 12th, I believe, 12th to 20th or something like that. Don't quote me on that, but this will be a hell of a tournament. Unfortunately, we are not going to see the likes of Russia in there because of what is going on in the world right now. It would have been nice to have Russia take part in this tournament, which kind of sucks for those athletes because not everyone agrees to the certain politics that is being dished out of Russia right now and what's going on. There is certain players that would probably love to attend this and don't agree with the politics, but that's just the way it is, unfortunately. Okay, let's get back into what we're going to talk about now. Let's go into our reflections piece. And again, this is a guy that still isn't retired. And I'm pretty sure from my introduction, you know who exactly I am talking about. Next reflection piece, I'm going to do one that is very, very familiar to everyone out there. In fact, he was an Edmonton Oiler even last year and is currently still not retired and is a UFA looking for a team that will sign him. This is a guy that had 3 stints with the Edmonton Oilers, and a lot of people are wondering, why am I doing a piece on this player, which I'll announce right away. Well, he has such an amazing story that this is actually going to be the longest reflections piece I've done to date. Let's talk about Sam Gagner. Sam Gagner was born August 10th, 1989, as a Canadian professional ice hockey player who is currently a UFA. He most recently played with the Edmonton Oilers in the National Hockey League. Gagner was drafted in the first round, 6th overall by the Edmonton Oilers in 2007 NHL entry draft. October 1st, 2007, he was signed to a 3-year entry-level deal with the Oilers, and then he played his first game on October 4th in a 3-2 shootout victory over the San Jose Sharks and earned his first NHL point, assisting on a goal by defenseman Tom Gilbert on October 20th. Gagner scored his first career NHL goal against Mika Kiprusoff of the Calgary Flames. As the NHL's youngest player in 2007-2008, he tallied 49 points in 79 games playing between wingers and fellow rookies Andrew Cogliano and Robert Nilsson on a line combination dubbed the Kid Line. During the season, Gagner participated in the 2008 NHL Young Stars game in Atlanta as part of the All-Star Weekend and was named the NHL Rookie of the Month for February. As part of a month-long scoring stretch in which he scored 13 points in 12 games, he also established an Oiler team record for the longest assist streak by a rookie with 9 in 8 straight games. The next season, 2008-2009, he recorded his first NHL hat trick and added an assist for a 4-point game in an 8-1 win against the Colorado Avalanche on March 19th, 2009. He finished his sophomore season with 16 goals and 41 points in 76 games. In the following 2 campaigns, he posted 41 and 42-point efforts. On March 9th, 2011, Gagne severed a tendon in his left hand while facing the Washington Capitals when teammate Ryan Jones caught him with a skate blade while jumping over the boards. Requiring surgery, Gagne was sidelined for the remainder of the 2010-2011 season, as well 1 month into the following campaign, making his return to the Oilers on October 22nd, 2011. Several months later, on February 2nd, 2012, Gagne scored 4 goals and had 4 assists against the Chicago Blackhawks, tying the team record of 8 points in a game previously set by Wayne Gretzky and Paul Coffey. On June 29th, 2014, the Tampa Bay Lightning acquired Sam Gagne in exchange for Teddy Purcell. Gagne, however, spent an hour as a member of the Lightning before being acquired by the Arizona Coyotes with B.J. Compine in exchange for a 6th-round pick in the 2015 NHL entry draft. On June 27, 2015, Gagne was traded to the Philadelphia Flyers along with a conditional 3rd 2017 or a 4th 2016 round pick in return for Nicholas Grossman and the contract of Chris Pronger. Coyotes general manager Don Mahoney explained the trade being due to the belief in the organization that Gagne couldn't play center in the NHL level. On August 1st, 2016, Gagne signed a 1-year deal with the Columbus Blue Jackets following a resurgent season with the Blue Jackets, where he set a career high in points with 50. Gagne signed a 3-year deal, $9.45 million contract with the Vancouver Canucks. Prior to the 2018-2019 season, after attending the Canucks training camp and preseason, Gagne was placed on waivers by the Canucks on October 1st, 2018. He cleared waivers the very next day and was loaned in order to be close to his family to the Toronto Marlies, affiliate of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Gagne scored 15 points in 15 games with the Marlies before being recalled by the injury-struck Canucks on November 18, 2018. He registered 1 goal and 3 points in 7 games before the Vancouver Canucks returned to health, and he was returned to the Marlies on December 4, 2018. Through 43 games with the Marlies, Gagne was among the team's top scorers with 37 points. He was traded by the Canucks in a return to his original draft club, the Edmonton Oilers, in exchange for Ryan Spooner on February 16, 2019. During the 2019-2020 season, Gagne recorded 5 goals and 7 assists in 36 games for the Oilers. On February 24th, 2020, Gagne was traded at the NHL trade deadline from the Oilers along with 2nd-round draft pick 2020 and 2021 to the Detroit Red Wings in exchange for Andres Anastasiou and Ryan Kuffner. He added 1 goal in 6 games with the Red Wings before their season was prematurely ended due to the COVID-19 pandemic suspended play. On September 26, 2020, the Red Wings signed Gagne to a 1-year, $850,000 contract extension. As a free agent from the Detroit Red Wings, Gagne continued his career by signing for his 16th season in the NHL, agreeing to a 1-year league minimum $750,000 contract with the Winnipeg Jets on September 2nd, 2022, in a depth forward role with the Jets. 22-23 season, Gagne played his 1,000th NHL career game on December 29th, 2022 against the Canucks. He contributed with 8 goals and 6 assists for 14 points in 48 regular season games before he was ruled out for the remainder of the campaign with the season-ending surgery on both hips March 16th, 2023. As a free agent following his lone season with the Jets, Gagne opted to extend his career by accepting an invitation to return to the Oilers on a professional tryout contract in preparation for the 23-24 NHL season on August 29th, 2023. Continuing his rehab from his double hip surgery, Gagne did not appear in any preseason games with the Oilers and was later signed to a one-year AHL contract with the Oilers affiliate, the Bakersfield Condors, for the 23-24 AHL season on October 23rd, 2023. However, just 8 days after signing with the Bakersfield Condors, Gagne was signed to a one-year, two-way contract by the Oilers on October 31st, marking his third tender with the team. In his first game with Edmonton since 2020, Gagne scored twice, but the Oilers lost to the Dallas Stars by a count of 4-3. Yes, Sammy is quite the player, quite the character. He's a guy that wanted to be on the Oilers. He wanted to come back. He always wanted to play for this team. It's really where his heart and soul is at. And I hope one day that the organization will eventually put him up on the Hockey Hall of Fame at Rogers Place. Totally deserved. When I think of Edmonton Oilers players, I obviously go back to the 80s when you got Gretzky, Messier, Anderson, Curry, Coffey, Fuhrer, all those guys. Then after that era happened, then you're looking at Doug Waite, Ryan Smith, Alex Hemsky, and then you're looking a little bit later, and Sam Gagne is that player that was part of the Decade of Darkness. Played after the Decade of Darkness, had three. I think he's the only Oiler to come back 3 times. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I know there's been a couple Oilers that came back twice. I can't say enough about Sam Gagne. He wasn't necessarily a superstar, but when he had moments, he had huge moments, like that 8-point game against Chicago. I believe in that game, he was actually the first, second, and third star, too. It was a very weird night. Okay, let's go on with the game recaps as the Oilers took on the Blue Jackets. This would have been, I believe, Tuesday night. This was definitely a game where the Edmonton Oilers, I think, needed to save face because they got absolutely blown out by the Blue Jackets. In their first game, 6-1 in Columbus. It was just an ugly game. It was one of those games that you want to forget about, but you'll always kind of remember because it was that shitty of a game or shitty of a result. So let's dive into the Blue Jackets and Oilers. Okay, so this game was on December the 5th. Just a few days ago. 6-3 was the final for the Oilers as they defeated the Blue Jackets. They almost let the Blue Jackets kind of get back into it, but overall they were able to save face and get the win. Okay, so let's look at the takeaways. Zach Hyman made a big impact after missing the previous 5 games with an injury. The 54 goal scorer from last season is off to a slow start this time with 5 goals. It was his 21st multi-goal game since joining the Edmonton Oilers. So he had a great night. Zach Hyman had a huge night in this one. Key moments. Not long after McDavid had a shot at an open net that was tipped away. When I saw this play, I thought McDavid missed it, but it was actually a great defensive play by Severson. The Oilers captain made up for it as he circled behind the net before passing it in front to Draisaitl, who calmly put it the backhand past Tarasov to give the Edmonton Oilers a 2-1 lead early in the second period. Columbus challenged for goaltender interference. However, it was unsuccessful. Okay, the key stat. The Oilers improved to 6-6-1 at home and will play 7 of their next 8 at Rogers Place. So they did kind of have a tough start, but now they're starting to roll, and the fan base is starting to love this team again. And obviously you can see the guys are all dressed up in their playoff gear and all that. I'd love to see that. My take, despite a very well-played game, there still was several breakdowns that could have swung the result the other way. Oilers need to start playing playoff hockey like the game they did on Tuesday night against the Vegas Golden Knights. Yeah. I don't know what it is about certain teams. There's certain teams that they really get up for, like Vegas. I think when Florida comes into town, they're going to get up for that game. And then there's certain teams that they just don't have that umph. And I want to see a little bit more consistency because this team needs to get a better home ice advantage for the playoffs. I think that's probably what hurt them the most. And look how close they came. So if they can get home ice advantage through most of their preliminary rounds, they could very well walk away with a Stanley Cup this year. Like they weren't far off last year. They incredibly came back from being down 3-0 against Florida and made a very good run. And we know the story. I don't need to go over it. Anyway, for this one, believe it or not, I'm giving them the B+ despite the win. I know I gave an A- to the Vegas game despite the loss, but I just liked the effort in the Vegas game way better than this one. I'm not complaining about this result. It's just I just thought the effort was much better in the Vegas game. Okay, let's go on to, we might as well just get right into the St. Louis Blues game that happened last night. Now, I coined this episode Friends and Foes. What I meant by that is basically any player that gets traded. Even Wayne Gretzky technically was a foe of the Edmonton Oilers when he got traded to the LA Kings. He was definitely a very admirable foe, but he was still a foe. He was still the enemy. That's what I meant by that. It's not that I have any ill will towards Broberg or Holloway. In fact, I think quite highly of them. I kind of figured Broberg would not have remained an Oiler, though, as he was asking to be traded earlier in the season. But, that's everyone has the right to their to what they want to do in their course of walk of life. So I'm not going to hold blame or hold him like, oh, you're a bag of shit because you want to get out of the Edmonton Oilers. No, you're a good dude. It's just you don't want to play for Edmonton. You don't want to play for Edmonton. And that's just the way it is. So let's get into the St. Louis Blues game that happened last night. Another great game. So this was a 4-2 win for the Oilers, another big win. Like I say, a great week for the Oilers. I'm not complaining at all. What they were doing in October for a second straight year in a row to where they are at now is good. Like it just seems like they just start off slow in October every year now. All right, let's get into the takeaways. After starting with 10 points in his first 11 games, McDavid had 27 points in his last 13 games. His second period assist was also his 123rd of the 2024 calendar year, including playoffs, matching Mario Lemieux's highest total of his career in 1992. Only Wayne Gretzky has had more assists in a calendar year. Whew, that's pretty impressive, man. And this calendar year isn't over yet, to be duly noted. The key moment, the Oilers took a 2-goal lead 5 minutes into the middle period as a clearing attempt by Broberg chromed off a teammate into the slot, and McDavid picked it up and sent it through Bivington's legs for his 13th goal of the season. It was McDavid's 29th career goal that was unassisted. Key stat. After a career high 54 games last season, Hyman had 3 goals in the first 20 games of the season. He now has 2 games. He now has 3 in 2 games since returning from a 5-game absence due to injury, doubling his season total. So my take, it now has been 2 years in a row that the Edmonton Oilers have a horrible October and an average November. Almost a cruel joke to the faithful, but we are starting to see signs of last year's team starting to emerge. So guys, we can start breathing. But let's see what they do this week coming up, because they have 3 tough competitions going into this week, and I'll get into that very shortly. The grade for this game is A plus, or A minus, sorry. A minus. Yeah, another good game. 3 games this week, 3 awesome results. Well, 2 awesome results, but 3 very, very exciting and good games. And in fact, the one game that didn't have the result was probably the best played game. So yeah, I am not complaining about it at all. Let's take a look at the updated standings. And as I mentioned at the opening of the episode, we now have a new King of the Hill, as the Minnesota Wild are now leading the West and Winnipeg has been shoved down. So let's just take a look at all the teams. The Minnesota Wild, they moved up 1 spot in position. Winnipeg moving down 1, as I just mentioned. Vegas and LA stay in the same spot. Vancouver has had the hugest jump this week with a +3. Dallas a -1. Edmonton slips a bit, despite their good week, to a -1. Calgary a -1. Colorado stays even par. St. Louis moves up 1. Seattle moves up 1. Utah moves down 2. San Jose, Anaheim, Nashville, and Chicago all stay status quo. And yeah, the Minnesota Wild just really cruising along. They are actually tied for points, but do have a game in hand on Winnipeg, so that's why they are moved to the front of the line on that. Okay, where are we headed now? So that leaves us with the poll question. And the poll question is not necessarily, it is an Edmonton Oiler related question, but not really related to the Edmonton Oilers. It's a player who's on the Edmonton Oilers who did not make the Team Canada roster. We're talking about Zach Hyman. This should be up at 12 noon, so in about 27 minutes it should be up for voting. Was Zach Hyman rightfully snubbed to be on Team Canada's roster? Scan that QR code. It'll take you directly to my community page where you can place your vote. And your results would be very amazing just to see where your guys' head is at. And yeah, let's move on. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at the upcoming games. And yes, this week is going to be an extremely taxing week for the Edmonton Oilers, as they got 3 tough games, playing 2 Stanley Cup champions and a team that just seems to have our number, as they'll take on Tampa, they'll take on Vegas, and then Minnesota. Let's get into that. So, as I mentioned, they'll take on Tampa on Tuesday, Minnesota on Thursday, and then Saturday, again, it's an afternoon, 1 p.m. start Pacific Standard Time, so 2 Mountain for you guys in Alberta. Let's get into the Tampa game and what they've been doing this year. Okay, so Tampa Bay are second in the league for goals. So they're definitely firing. 3.92 goals per game. 18th in the league for shots on goal. 9th in the league for the power play. Tied for 14th for faceoffs. Second in the league for shooting percentage at 13.6. So they got guys that can put the puck in the net. One guy named Kucherov, which is a pretty damn good player. Okay, tied for 17th for goals allowed, 12th in the league for shots on goal allowed, tied for 16th for penalty minutes, and 21st in the league for penalty kills. So defensively, they could be a little bit better. The last time the Oilers met up with the Lightning was a 7-4 win for the Tampa Bay Lightning on December 14th, 2023. So they haven't played for a while. And I think this was the beginning of, I think this was in between two hot streaks for the Oilers. I think they went on their 8 game and then lost a couple, and then they went on that 16 game. So I think this was just in between that. Tampa Bay's record so far is 13-9-2, 5-5-1 away, and in the last 10 they are 6-3-1 with a 1-game winning streak. Of course, the Oilers are on a 2-game winning streak, and hopefully will continue to carry it over. Andre Vasilevsky is likely to get the start with a .909 save percentage, 242 goals against average. Stuart Skinner with a .292 goals against average and an .892 save percentage. Vasilevsky has 2 shutouts, Skinner with 1 shutout. We now move on to the next game on Thursday, which is the Minnesota Wild. As this is a team, again, I hate when the Oilers play the Minnesota Wild because they always seem to beat us. And just a few weeks ago on November 21st, they did just that in a 5-3 win. And not to mention, they are top of the West right now. So this is a very, very, very strong team. Potential Stanley Cup contender. And we'll see potentially a matchup for the Edmonton Oilers as well in the playoffs. They are 16th in the league for goals at 3.04. First in the league for shots on goal at 32.6. So they get into the offense pretty good. This is where our D is going to have to really support Stewie and help him out because there's only so much he can do. 17th in the league for the power play at 20.6. Face-off percentage. Second in the league. I'm reading the Oilers. My apologies. Okay. And I don't know if I might have read Tampa Bay's. I wonder if I should go back. Oh, okay, I won't bother. I might have been backwards on the stats on the last one. Anyway, let's get back to Minnesota. 13th in the league at 31.9. 28th in the league, or 19th in the league at 28.7 for shots on goal. The power play percentage, they are 19th in the league at 19.4. 22nd in the league for faceoffs at 49.1. And they are 10th in the league at the shooting percentage at 11.1. For defense, goals allowed, first in the league. They are only allowing 2.33 goals against. That being said, we got an Edmonton Oilers team that is starting to wake up, so that could change very much. 21st in the league for shots on goal allowed at 29.1. So defensively, they do have breakdowns. And the goaltending has been bailing them out. 4th in the league for penalty minutes and 26th in the league for the penalty kill. Philip Gustafson's record is a .931 save percentage. There you go. Probably one of the best in the league with a .931, 2 shutouts, and a 1.99 goals against. I want to go back to that Tampa one real quick and just see. No, I did give you the right results on that one. Okay, good. The Tampa one is a home game. Then they fly to Minnesota, and then they come back home to take on, the Vegas Golden Knights in a rematch from last weekend's game. What a game. And I'm hoping to see a little bit more. Vegas Golden Knights are going to be coming into this one 7th in the league for goals, 10th in the league for shots on goal, 5th in the league for power play goals or power play percentage. 9th in the league for face-off percentage, 6th in the league for shooting percentage, 10th in the league for goals allowed, 19th in the league for shots on goal allowed, 2nd in the league for penalty minutes, 17th in the league for penalty kill. Aiden Hill, he was lights out last week, so we hope that he fumbles a little bit. He has a .905 save percentage, 2 shutouts, one of them being against the Edmonton Oilers last weekend. And his record is 12-4-2. Skinner likely to get the start. And we'll see. Hopefully this is where Aiden Hill might have an off night. Let's hope. But those are your games, guys, as the Edmonton Oilers set to take on another 3 teams this week. Okay, let's go into final thoughts. And Renegade Man has some final thoughts for us, as I'll dive into some of his comments right now. Okay. First comment from Renegade Man. We can all blame management all we want, but Broberg and Holloway made the choice to sign the contract. Nothing wrong with taking the money, but we can make them but we can't make them victims here. They chose money. And you're right. When I want to make sure I'm stating that correctly. When I'm saying friends and foes, I am saying that basically any opponent is a foe, all right? Any opponent that plays against the Oilers is a foe. But they were once friends because they were on our team. Skinner has been solid the past 4 starts he's in, but we can't expect him to be consistent every game. There's no such thing as a consistent goalie. This is true. There is a such thing as a consistent goalie, but it's goalies that have the amazing defense behind them. And when it comes to playoffs, I've seen goaltenders be absolutely unreal and basically the main factor why certain teams win Stanley Cups. Jeff Skinner should play on the power play if he's not going to play in the top 6 minutes. Yes and no. Right now we're trying to figure out the power play. I would give it a little bit more time just because the power play is just starting to come around. Let's not start messing with it. Let's start getting that chemistry built before we start retooling and touring around. So I agree with you and I don't agree with you on that. Nurse has been playing the best hockey of the season. He's just 1 assist away from getting 200 with 199 last night. Love him or hate him, losing him really hurts the D and creates a big hole. Yes, this year. Some previous years, he was a liability. This year, lights out amazing. Kulak has been great too. I mean, there's a lot of good players doing a lot of good things with the Edmonton Oilers. And now we're trying to see what we actually have here. We're trying to feel it out, and I think we got good things. My big question is, where's Arvidsson going to fit in when he comes back into the lineup? Because he has struggled big time. So chime in your guys' thoughts on that. You can always message me on my message board throughout the week, and I will try to answer back. But other than that, guys, I think this is a wrap. I am going to go get myself a birthday meal right now and just relax for the rest of the day and back to another work week. All right, guys, you have a great week. We'll see you next week.